Hello Epic 7, I hope your Saturday is amazing. We are on day number 6 of Ancient Inheritance. Well, technically this is still day number 5. I am piecing 2 different days of videos together here. So we've opened the Priest and we can teleport from the Wardens to the Priest Island. Before I do anything, I want to collect these rewards. There's experience points in the rewards and that can push your class levels up, so you always want to check the bell before you start moving around. Now, to make life a little bit easier, I'm going to tag these teleports based on our teams. So this left teleport is going to be the red and the... double checking the map. Yeah, the red and the blue team go to the left side teleport. And then I'll slide over to the right side teleport and tag it as well for the green and gold teams. Tagging the teleports makes life a lot easier when you're trying to move around, even though the teleport maps are a lot easier to see and navigate on. A little bit of extra info can save people from grabbing the wrong teleport. So that one is mine, so I'm going to... Actually, that's not mine. That's where I am right now. Somebody put a note. Okay, that's my teleport right there. You can see the left and the right tags, and that's the one on the left side, so that's where I'm heading. Now we get to fight the Golem. I want to try a slightly different kind of Golem team for this run. Now it's the same Golem fight as before, where the Golem does counterattacks every third time you hit it, and he also spams defense breaks, and the longer the fight goes, the harder he hits. Now the tech I want to use this time is I want to see if a lifesteal Ed can basically solo this. I put Acades in there because last time I didn't have her and I regretted it. You really kind of need somebody to cleanse the defense breaks off your team, or you just will not be able to stay ahead of the damage. I'll run Kitty Clarissa for some dual attacks and an extra source of cleansing, and I will run Rowana as my healer. There's a secondary healer because the Golem does counterattack every 3 hits, so Rowana should stack healing nicely. I'm putting Ed on Sigurd's Scythe just to make him even stronger on the self-sustain. Acades I have on Unfading Memories for healing. I put Rowana on Shamadra's Staff to bolster the effects of Lifesteal, Sigurd's Scythe, and the passive healing. And Kitty Clarissa, I gave her Sigurd's Scythe as well, just to give her additional sources of self-healing.
This is the start. Meow.
So let's see if I'm able to do anything better with this team over the last one. Now, the one thing I don't have is the defense break, so hindsight being 2020, I should have taken Camilla instead of Kitty, but I'll work with what I got.
I must be brave.
So there's 2 hits, and Rowana will be a 3rd hit, which will result in a counter, which will see our push up my whole team and heal. Oh, I missed it in the notes, but the Golem has injury. Well, that's lovely.
Will you play with me, Meow? Here, Meow. Step back.
So one thing I'm noticing is that Edward doesn't do a lot of damage on a lifesteal build with a self-sustaining artifact, so though this team will probably sustain well, I'm not sure it'll do that much damage before the Golem's damage ramp up is just so high that I can't stay ahead of it. So there's the defense break I was talking about.
This is just the beginning.
I have a feeling this is going to be a very long fight, so I'm just going to go ahead and speed it up and get us through it. Ed's lifesteal seems to be doing pretty good combined with Rowana's healing, so for the first good chunk of the fight, everything was going as planned, but the Golem's damage did start to ramp up, and especially with the defense breaks, he eventually got a hit in that kills my kitty Clarissa.
Clarissa wants to play. Meow. Here. Meow.
Yeah, see, it was just the double hit that was too much for Kitty to take, and Lifesteal and Sigurd's is great, but if he can kill you in one shot, it doesn't really do that much. So this is overall not turning out to be anywhere near as good of a team as I thought. I think your best bet is to stick with high damage and just try to nuke up as much as you can. I think if I have to do this fight again, I will run Rowana, Sirmia, and 2 dual attackers like Kitty and Camilla, and just start laying down damage. I think that's a key to getting a 6 or 7-digit score.
Everyone, I'll save you. Be well. Wait. I won't lose.
Yeah, counter into a hit. It's just too much for Ed to sustain, and that's going to end the run at a very disappointing 400k damage.
Goddess. I won't lose.
So I guess the summary is don't try to out-sustain the Golem, just go in and nuke it down, but the rest of my guild should clear that out nicely. I'm going to travel on over and see if I can get to the priest and pick up a little loot on the way. I only have 28 provisions, so it's going to be tight. In fact, so tight I'll go ahead and skip the treasure chest for now. Now, just because I'm skipping the treasure chest doesn't mean you should. On floor number 3, the chests are very worth grabbing, but I want to advance... Oh, hey! I finally got a good scroll, or a good relic, so Wolf Gauntlet is going to replace my older Wolf Gauntlet and give me better, stronger warriors. As I was saying about the chests, the main reason I'm skipping them right now is because we've still got over a week left in this event, and floor 4 is massive, so I'm sure I'll be able to pick up enough loot to clear out everything I need from the shop. Let's see, 13 steps, counting the hexes. It takes 7 to fight the priest on this floor. Yeah, I just don't have enough provisions to walk over there and fight the priest. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the scroll and pick up a little loot, and we will fight the priest tomorrow. That's a pretty bad scroll, but since I'm not fighting the priest until tomorrow, I'll take the 300 provisions. I'm sorry, the 300 experience points and the epic catalyst. Funny thing, the 300 experience points was so much that if you check my exploration level, I think I would have been fine to now walk over and fight the priest, because I would have leveled up during the walk and that would have given me some extra provisions. But I've been skipping a lot of loot, so I'm going to grab this chest, and that puts me up a level, takes me up 6 more provisions. I'll go ahead and level my warriors up. Now I'm ready to fight the priest, except it takes 7 provisions to fight the priest, and I am not right up against it, so the priest will still be something we have to fight tomorrow. And that's where my walk ends today. Okay, everybody, now it's officially Saturday. I've got my 60 provisions from having a day roll over. Lots of people have hit the priest, now it's my turn. I see Grim locked in 900k. Let's see if we can top it. I'm going to use a different team, one that I'm kind of excited about using. It is the Lilibet Alencia team. We're going to run a Lilibet for my damage dealer, Alencia for a source of defense breaks, and because her double hit is great at spamming the artifact debuffs, we'll run Mercenary Helga for additional sources of defense break, and of all people, Green Lots is going to be my healer. I've got Green Lots on Doctor's Bag because it's his only way he can cleanse debuffs. Mercenary Helga, I have Junkyard Dog just for an extra chance at debuffs. Lilibet I've got on Jacko's Symbol. You could also run Symbol of Unity for damage. And Alencia I put on Cradle of Life. I really like Alencia on Cradle because her double tap on her S1 is 2 chances to put a debuff on the enemy. So let's see how this team works. The hardest part about this team is balancing your Green Lots. You want to make sure that his Doctor's Bag is ready to cleanse debuffs when you need it. I was a little stingy about his movements and didn't play him as well as possible, but it still worked out. Nobody really needs a CR push, so I'm just going to attack break with my S1. And it's early enough in, I'm not really sure anybody needs a defense or anybody needs the defense buff, so we'll S1 to get the defense break off. I don't really need to do an S1 or an S2 at this point, so I'll just buff everybody up. And Lilibet's S2 skill is very important to have for round 6. That's a 3-turn cooldown, so I'm going to use it early. But the Lilibet's S2 is kind of key to this fight. Now, whenever Lilibet sticks a bleed with her S2, she gets 100% CR push, so she basically gets to take another turn. And the priest still CR push cut me, so I lost the defense break, so I'll just use an S1 and try to save that. I got resisted on the defense break, 15% in PvE, gotta love it. But I got a 3% dual attack, which resulted in a defense break, so we're back in business. We'll have Alencia double tap. And now we've got the seal and defense breaks, so I really need Green Lots to come in with his cleanses. Unfortunately, he's really far back in the rotation. I'll use the S3 for really good damage into that defense break. Lots cuts, so the way I should have played this is I should have S2'd myself, and then I could have used the S3 for additional healing, but this works fine. Everybody's healthy again. There's still a defense break on Alencia, so I'm going to use her S3 to put defense buff on everybody, and that should help take the heat of this defense break. Okay, so everybody survived. Next round is the round I need to use her S2. You really want to save the S2 for the round 6. Okay, so Green Lots is kind of hurt. I want to cycle his skills, so I'm going to S2 himself. And the reason for that is I S2 himself, then I take another turn, and that means his S3 will be ready and I can heal everyone up. So now Green Lots' skills are all ready to go. Now this round is what we've been waiting for. This is the major hurdle where we need to have 3 debuffs. Lilibet's S2 sticks 2 bleeds on there, so that gives us our 3 debuffs. If I can get a buff block, I did. 50% chance, but the S1 buff block is great. Because of the buff block, the priest will not get the counterattack stance debuff, or buff, and it'll make it a lot easier to do this because there'll be nothing to strip. If you don't get buff block, you have to rely on Alencia's S3 to strip the counterattack. So you want to make sure your Alencia's S3 is ready, just in case you don't get the 50% chance buff block on her S1 off. And I'm really glad I got the buff block because my Alencia's S3 wouldn't have been ready in time. So because we have more than 3 debuffs, that does no damage, and we don't have to worry about the counterattack buff to strip. But you can see that's what makes this team so good, is it does rely on some RNG with Lilibet's S1. If you don't stick the buff block, you have to make sure you plan it around Alencia's S3 for strip, or the counterattack buff will eat you alive, because Lots is just not a strong enough healer. So now it's just a matter of stacking damage, and here's the seal and defense break. Wow, he landed the seal and break on everyone. Hopefully Lots is able to help with this a little bit. Okay, so a misplay here. Lots' health is so low that the double pop will kill him. So I should have saved that S2 and just done a single attack, then Lots would have gotten a chance to take a turn, cleanse the seals and defense breaks off of the units with Doctor's Bag, and I probably would have saved a couple of units and made this run a little higher score. It's always nice to be able to CR push your damage dealers at the end of this fight. Unfortunately, we go all the way to the end without those 2 units, but we still get a score over 1 million points. And if you can rack up 1 million points on the Priest on floor 3, that's amazing. That's really, really, really good numbers. So I hope you enjoyed this team. I think it's a really good one for the Priest fight. It's not the best one, perhaps. There are other teams that are every bit as good. The Ken team in prior videos is fantastic. Just wanted to give you a different option that I don't think I've featured before. Well, that is all for now. I'm going to save my 60 provisions because the guild is just waking up, and I'm pretty sure we will have this priest dead in a couple of hours. And then I'll put up a video about floor number 4. I'll go ahead and link a map to floor number 4 in the description just for your use. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Check the comment section for additional priest comp fights, as well as a link to Derp's guide on Ancient Inheritance. It's got some great comp ideas in there as well. Have a great one, everybody.